Alright, back from the gym. Crazy leg day, so forgive me if any of my sentences don't make any sense. All the blood went from my brain to my legs. Legends released a rating match tier list newsletter bit, and they also included the changes to the upcoming featured boost tier. It's time to announce the tiers for the next 2 seasons of rating matches and treasure battles. The next tiers will apply for 2 seasons from the rating match season starting on the 15th. One thing you may have noticed is they are buffing featured boost for Legends limited characters. The following LF exclusive stat bonuses are planned for the featured tier. If you are an LF between 0 to 3 stars, you get 15% max HP, 15% strike and blast attack, and 15% base strike and blast defense, as well as base critical. If you're 4 stars to red 1 or 8 stars, that becomes 12%. And if you are 9 stars to 14 stars, you get 9% instead. Alright. There's a lot to talk about here. I am a bit of an optimist. I think it's a great way to go through life. If I wasn't, I would be in my downtown core right now with 5 stars like it's Grand Theft Auto. But the optimist in me wants to point out some things with this new change. Number 1, they said it's for 2 seasons only. They said for the next 2 seasons, we're providing these buffs to LF characters. So that's one thing. Number 2, this could be their way of tackling the fact that everyone is running double ultras at a minimum. They want to incentivize people to run different characters, and by providing stat buffs to LF characters exclusively, you can motivate people to wanting to run 13, Purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku, other such featured LF characters instead of just the Frieza, Namegoku, or Vegeta and Frieza, or Namegoku and Vegeta. Any kind of combination of those 3 things. People don't like running into so many ultras, especially with all 3 of them together, so this sort of thing definitely fits the bill for motivating more team diversity. And number 3, if you're somebody that just so happened to pull a LF character and you have them at low stars, this can help with their overall survivability because, I assume, these featured boost buffs are also paired with the already existing featured buffs, which is the 20% additional damage and 10% damage card. So these little things help out with your characters surviving more, right? That's where the optimist in me sees things. Now the negatives. I'm not a negative Nancy, but this is where my concerns are. Number 1, if this was meant to help out people with lower star characters deal with some of the crazy ultras that we have right now, I think it would have been better if you at least stopped buffing, say, past 9 stars. I don't understand why the padding continues all the way to 14 stars. I guess they still want to reward people that have high starred LF characters from the ultras. But the problem is, this goes back to the issues people had with the featured boost in the first place. Featured boost came to light because at the time, LF characters were 1, hard to pull, 2, you only ever had them at 2 stars, you only got 600 Z power for them, and number 3, Zankais were in their prime. Zankais at their prime had not only really good kits, but they also had significant stat advantages over new characters. Compare a 14 star or even a 7 star Zenkai 7 character stats to a 2-star LF. It's night and day. The 40 to 50k difference decimated any new LF character. So they introduced the featured boost so that when people pulled for the new character, they didn't have to feel like they, kind of got screwed over. A good example of this is when we got LF Majin Vegeta. At the time, we had the Zenkai for the Blue Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, the one on the future team, the ranged one. People were like, why do I bother with Majin Vegeta? There's already a Blue Vegeta Clan character, and he's Zenkai'd. That was a great example of why they did this kind of thing. The problem is Legends always overdoes these things. Soon after, they introduced 1200 or 1800 Z power for LFs, so you can now get them more limit broken when you pulled them. Number 2, they introduced the 20% sparking rate, so it became just a tiny bit easier to pull the featured LF characters. And number 3, they hurt Zenkai's going forward. Zenkai characters ended up becoming more like delegated bench. So they did a triple whammy. At this point, we don't need the featured boost anymore. You did it. You finished it. The stat padding, the Zenkais being overtuned, and the harder to pull characters, you rectified all of them. The reason why I bring this up is because my concern is this is going to be it going forward. People already had such negative emotions towards the featured boost. This sort of thing comes off as tone deaf, that instead of addressing the root causes, they just continued doubling down on the padded stat buffing of the featured boost characters, right? No matter how you look at this, if you didn't pull the character, boom, you're not going to benefit from this increased stat padding. Number 2, people that really want to limit break the characters got an even bigger buff from, say, anybody else. So this going to benefits paying players even further. And number 3, it doesn't address the core issue. If Legends is... the core issue is everybody adheres to their design philosophy but the Ultra characters. That's part of the reason why people run so many of them together. It doesn't, just because you pad them with additional stats, it doesn't change the fact that KO guard, AoE green lock-in, Death Beam second life debuffing with arts cost increase and key reduction, and a guy who permanently increases arts cost with a snipe and a crazy burst damage, no LFs compared to these characters. It doesn't change the fact that Legends is not adhering to their own design philosophy for the Ultra characters. And even if you say, that's okay, it's the highest rarity character in the game, the hardest thing to pull, highest rarity, quote-unquote hardest effort character, it should have some slight advantage. Even if you say that, it's night and day. Ultras gap the LFs hard. If they gave them one little oomph to make them better, I would understand, because I would agree with you. But it is no contest. LF characters have to bow before the might of Ultra characters. So this doesn't rectify the issue. Number 2, my concern with this is Legends sees this as just a perfect blanket sweep, put it under the rug solution anytime they screw up. Anytime they make an issue with these multiple Ultra characters, they can just go ahead and say, yeah, how do we fix this? Let's just stat pad the other characters and call it a day. This doesn't fix the issue. Ultras are too overtuned. This is just a blanket sweep, poor effort targeted solution to the problems. Number 3, if this, my biggest concern is they are not going to keep this for just 2 seasons, that they then instead see this as something they'll just continue doing going forward, and this will just become their go-to solution anytime they screw up. You can almost say this, to me, feels like their answer anytime they mess up. You could see this as their excuse to release more Ultras characters, because it's just going to be like, oh, we can stat pad all the LFs, so it's okay. Or they can go ahead and be a little bit less lenient when it comes to the design philosophy, any less lenient than they already are for the Ultras, and just go ahead and say, yeah, we'll just stat pad the LFs again, and it'll make everything right. This just comes off as unbelievably tone deaf. So you guys let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this. There are some positives to take from this, but to me, a lot of it hinges on the execution of it, and Legends has shown us that execution is not exactly their forte. Things will always look good in practice, but the execution of it will be poor. This is the kind of thing where they could blanket sweep it right now, but in 2 seasons, it ends up becoming a much bigger issue. Imagine they release a Super 17 modern day equivalent Nightmare Fuel chaotic just terrorist character, and now he has all of this. Maybe just do balance changes instead of stat padding, and or actually listen to your own design philosophy going forward. Well, you guys let me know in the comment section below what you think. But until next time, peace.